Hi everybody, it's Chef Diane. Thank you so much for joining us for our cook along today. Today we are making healthy baked zucchini fries. So let's go ahead and Steve, our friends that are checking in, and I'm gonna go through all the ingredients with you and get you started on making some easy, tasty, healthy baked zucchini fries. You're gonna love them. Hi Anya. All right, so today we are going to be starting with hand washing, of course. So you want to make sure you have impeccably clean hands while you're cooking, and you also want to wash as you go. So anytime you touch anything icky, sticky, ooey gooey, you go ahead and give yourself a hand wash with soap and water. You also want to heat your oven to 425, and I'm going to repeat that a couple times so people remember, and their oven will be warm. But by the time it's ready, the zucchini fries are ready to go in the oven. So hand washing, heat your oven to 425. Again, thank you so much for cooking along with me. Let's talk about what we need to get started. So we're making fries because they're not really fried in oil. They're going to be baked in the oven. And one thing that will make them super crispy and crunchy, just like a real fry, is using Panko breadcrumbs. So these Panko breadcrumbs are from Trader Joe's. You can also find them at Whole Foods, Sprouts, Lazy Acres. You can get them in whole wheat. You can get them gluten-free. But if you don't have Panko, that's okay. You can still use whatever kind of breadcrumbs you have, or even just flour. I had somebody ask if they could use almond flour. Absolutely. They won't get as crunchy and crispy, but they're still going to be super delicious. Of course, today we're going to need zucchini. So zucchini, it's summertime. You're going to find beautiful zucchini in your farmer's market. If you get a CSA box, you'll find them in your CSA box a lot. If you grow them in the garden, you're gonna see that you're already starting to get some nice, beautiful zucchinis starting to mature and develop. So great summer ingredient, so much versatility. And if you're not a big fan of zucchini, wait till you try these fries and you're gonna love them. We're also going to need an egg. So just one egg, and I put mine in a cup because I'm gonna crack it into the cup and I'm gonna whisk it together. So egg, cup, and a whisk. Of course, you're gonna need salt and pepper. You're also gonna need a gallon-sized plastic bag. So this is a really cool, easy way to get your zucchini coated with your Panko and your egg. Of course, a cutting board and a knife that fits the size of your hand. And then we're making a tasty, zesty ranch dressing from scratch. So I put the ranch dressing out here so we can look at the label later. But for the ranch dressing, you're gonna need mayonnaise, Greek yogurt. You can use whatever kind of dried herbs you like or fresh herbs. I'm using parsley and dill, but if you don't have either of those, just use the parsley. You could just use some dried basil if you like. In fact, I have something that I'm going to try today because my daughter saw it at Trader Joe's, and it's onion salt. So I'm going to try that, a little bit of that in my ranch dressing today. You need milk or buttermilk. And a traditional ranch dressing is made with buttermilk. I didn't have that today. I'm just going to use regular milk. That's fine. And some garlic powder. So I just have a little quarter teaspoon of garlic powder. So we're going to start with our zucchini fries, and then we're going to move on to our ranch dressing when those go in the oven. So again, preheat your oven at 425. And let's see, what do we need to get started? Well, first we're going to cut our zucchini. So I'm going to move some stuff out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. I've got my cutting board. I've got a knife that fits my hand. And I've got these giant zucchinis, and I want to cut them into French fry sized pieces. So the thing that you want to do first is remember your claw grip. Remember, your cutting board should be close to your body so you're not reaching forward, but it's right here at your hips. Get a stool if you need to have a stool, and then you're going to hold your knife, pinching the blade and wrapping all fingers around the handle. Cut off the top, and then spin it around and cut off the bottom. Now, I've said it before, but I'll mention it again. You never want to cut anything lengthwise that's longer than your knife. So we're going to cut this in half first. So now I have it in half. And I've got a flat surface I can work with. And I've got to look at the diameter of my zucchini and think, if I cut this in half and in quarters, I'm going to have these big, gigantic, like thumb size, bigger than thumb size French fries. I want my French fries to be about a finger size. So I'm going to cut this into 3 planks. So I'm going to cut it 1 and 2 right there. So now I'm going to have 3 about finger size wide planks. So now my flat side is down. I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to go 1/3 into the zucchini and cut straight down. Push, mark your spot and then push straight down. So now I have a plank that is that size. I'm going to do the same thing with my other zucchini. If you have thinner zucchini, you might be able to just cut it in half. So there we go. There's our second. So now I have 3 planks that look just like this. I'm going to continue to cut these into a baton or a French fry shape by cutting them into, these are really wide, and if it's finger size, I'm probably going to do 4 slices here. So 4 cuts here. Hold on with your claw grip. You can cut it in half first so you can see how to divide that half into quarters. And then I have my French fry cut. And because a zucchini has round shapes and straight edges, it's not going to be a perfectly sized, you can see mine's a little wider at the bottom and thinner at the top. That's okay. It's still going to be absolutely beautiful. So we're going to go ahead and keep working through our zucchini. I have a really large zucchini. You should have about 2 to 3 zucchini a pound each. I'm sorry, not a pound each, a pound total, about a pound total. But your zucchini might be gigantic like mine. I'm going to go ahead and just do 2 zucchini. So I have my second one right here. So remember, using your safe knife skills, let's cut those into French fry sized pieces. And whenever you cut something, after it's done cutting, push it to the side of your board so it's not in the middle of your board, making it really difficult for you to make some clean cuts. So here again, I'm going to go 1, 2. Oh, this one's getting too skinny. So I'm just going to go 3 here. Maybe I'll cut it to just kind of make it. I'll cut this to make it a little bit more precise. And take your time cutting, please. Don't go too fast. Really just safety is more important than speed. So some people like to stack up their stuff on the board and try to cut through all of it, and the probability of your knife slipping and cutting yourself might happen. So you want to just take your time. Cut just 1 plank at a time into 4s. And I'm just going to eyeball this. This zucchini is going to make a lot of fries for my family's lunch today, so I'm just going to go with the 1 zucchini. So after you're done with your zucchini, I'm going to give you some time, but you're going to take your plastic bag and place everything into that zucchini. So all your zucchini goes in the bag, and now you're all set. So you're almost there in making your fries. The next thing that you need to do, salt and pepper, egg, whisk, and your plate full of breadcrumbs. I'm going to put my breadcrumbs on my plate right now. And I have some tongs. And I also have a lined baking sheet. So this is lined with parchment paper. You could use a silicone mat. You could use a light layer of cooking spray. No paper if you don't have the paper, just some cooking spray. Or if you don't even have cooking spray, you can use some olive oil and then just apply it with a paper towel. You just need to have some kind of barrier so your zucchini fries, the coating doesn't stick to the pan. So here's my bag full of Jill's making this for her mom. Oh, my mom's gonna have some too. Lucky moms today, right? So this, here we go. Here's our bag with our zucchini. Grab your egg. We're gonna crack it into the cup, making sure that we don't get any shell into our egg mixture. Lightly put your thumbs at the bottom of the egg. You don't want to squeeze it too hard, or else you'll have to do a couple eggs and until you get that light touch in practice. And then gently open it up into the cup. And wash your hands. Next thing we need to do is wash our hands. I'm not going to leave the camera right now, and I'm going to be okay not washing my hands, but everybody, after you crack an egg, you need to just soak in water. Eggs are potentially hazardous and can, if you have that bacteria in your hands, it can spread. All right, so next we've got the egg in the cup. We're going to grab some pepper. I did about 3 cranks, or you could just do 1 pinch if your pepper is already ground. I'm going to do 1 generous pinch of salt, which is about 1/4 teaspoon. If you like measuring, that's okay. You can measure about a light 1/4 teaspoon. And then I'm just going to stir this up. So I mentioned to you, this is so easy, right? I've got my egg in a cup. And now I'm just going to take it and pour it into my zucchini. This is the fun part too. So I've got, the egg is going to make everything stick to the zucchini. I'm going to seal this bag very well. I want to make sure that I get the nice tight seal on it, completely closed. And then you just pick it up and you gently coat the zucchini with the egg. You don't want to smash it. You want your zucchinis to stay in that nice French fries size pieces. If you haven't heated your oven to 425, please go ahead and take care of that piece of business, because we are almost ready to start baking our zucchini fries. So now I've got just a little tiny bit of egg at the bottom, and I'm going to just try to make sure that I avoid that egg. I don't want to have goopy, gooey, eggy zucchini fries. I just want to have that egg lightly coat. And in fact, if you have an egg allergy or you don't have eggs, you could just use olive oil. You can put the zucchini in a bag full of olive oil and coat it that way. Next, I've got my Panko breadcrumbs, or whatever breadcrumbs you're using today. I'm going to season those about two pinches of salt and 3 cranks of pepper. If you wanted to, you could get super fancy with your coating. You could put in everything bagel mix. You could put in some garlic powder. You could put in this, like I was mentioning, we're trying this onion salt. You could do something like that, give it a different flavor. You could put fresh herbs chopped in this. I love that we can have a lot of creativity and variety with the foods that we make. All right, so now once you have your zucchini in the egg, you're gonna take your tongs and you're gonna gently grasp the zucchini with your tongs. If you squeeze too hard, you can actually break your zucchini in half. So then it goes into the Panko, and it's not gonna get you're still gonna see zucchini peeking through the Panko. It's not like a thick breading. It's just a light layer. So it looks like this. And that's what makes it crunchy and crispy. And then you keep on going through. I have one that is actually a perfect zucchini fry, right? Isn't that the perfect size? See how they all turn out. Because some have the green skin on them, and that's something I didn't mention. You just keep the skin on. You don't have to peel that off of the zucchini. It's nice and tender. It's full of antioxidants. Zucchini is full of fiber. It's also rich in vitamin C and a lot of minerals that you need, like magnesium, calcium, It's really a very beneficial vegetable. My dogs are excited about the gardener being here right now. So lots of stuff going on in my kitchen. So remember, don't squeeze too hard. Just get a light coating. Don't make the zucchini too eggy. Make sure you just let the egg, the words I'm looking for sometimes escape my head. Let the eggs just drip off a little bit. So I'm just letting that drip a little bit. And if you haven't heated your oven, now's the time. All right, so you're gonna take your zucchini and put it on your baking sheet. This is really important whenever you bake anything, whether it's a protein, some kind of vegetable. See how I've got it all spaced out so nothing's touching each other. The more things touch, the more that they steam. And then it doesn't get crispy and crunchy. All right, so I'm getting some requests to slow down. So tell me where you are with your process of making your zucchini fries, and then I'll catch you up from there. Do you have your zucchini cut yet? Do you have it in the bag? And remember, anytime that you need to refer to the recipe, you can go on the Facebook site, has the recipe there. Or if you need to pause and then go back, you can do that as well. So here I've got a tray full of zucchini fries. Now to finish my zucchini fries, I might need to fill up a second tray instead of trying to crowd them. You can see how I have them all spaced out before they go in the oven. All right, so next thing. I'm gonna let you guys either pause it if you need to take a moment to get your sheet pan filled up with your zucchini. While you guys are still working on your zucchini, I'm going to walk you through what we're gonna do to make our ranch. So for the ranch, we've got, actually, let me just talk to you about why it's so much better to make homemade zucchini fries that are baked versus frozen ones that are already coated and go into the oven, or even French fries or fried zucchini that goes in the pan. So this zucchini is going to have it only has a few ingredients, a handful of ingredients. In my Panko breadcrumbs, I have wheat flour, a little bit of sugar, yeast, and salt. So there's 4 ingredients. I have zucchini, egg, salt, and pepper. So there's no preservatives, there's no artificial flavors, no artificial colorings. It's all pretty clean. The breadcrumbs are, of course, not something you want to eat every day, but this is pretty clean. The ranch, if you look at a bottle of ranch, it has vegetable oil, water, sugar, salt, buttermilk. And then after that, it goes into a whole list of things that I can't even pronounce. So you've got sodium, disodium phosphate, sorbic acid, agar, xanthan gum. Look at, I really can't even, I'm tripping over a lot of these words. Calcareous disoform. So a lot of different stuff go in this to make it shelf stable and also make it make you think it's tasty to your palate. But what we're using today for our ranch is organic mayonnaise. This has soybean oil, water, organic egg yolks, organic whole eggs, organic white vinegar, lemon juice, mustard seed, and that's it. So that's pretty limited and pretty clean. We're also using Greek yogurt. You could also use sour cream. I like to make things organic. You don't have to make that choice if you don't want to. Fresh parsley and dill. So how could that not be something that's really good for you? And a little bit of milk. So I've got mayonnaise, Greek yogurt, milk, some garlic powder. I'm going to try the onion salt in it. and dill and parsley. I mean, that's pretty much, everything is clean. So if you're looking at a label of this ranch, it would have a lot fewer ingredients than the label of this ranch. All right, how are we doing? Are we caught up? Do we have, Anya is breading her zucchini. We just realized we don't have yogurt or sour cream. You could just use milk instead, Jill, or buttermilk if you have it. Just leave out the sour cream. It's still gonna be creamy and delicious. Okay, so we're getting that zucchini ready to go in the oven. I made my zucchini already. I baked it in advance. And so this is what it's gonna look like. It's gonna go in the oven for 15 minutes. Set your timer. And then when the 15 minutes is up, you're gonna flip it over so the other side gets browned. So, I'm sorry, for another 10 minutes. So 25 minutes total. I've got both sides brown because at 15 minutes, I took my tongs and I flipped them over to the other side. So aren't these cute? Crispy and crunchy. So when they're ready to go in the oven, set your timer for 15 minutes, get ready to flip it over after 15 and then set it for 10 minutes and they will be good to go, 425. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our herbs ready for our ranch dressing. Of course, I'm not gonna need to use all of this dill. Dill is a great summertime flavorful herb. I do need to pull it off of the stem and I only need a teaspoon of it, minced. But if you already have it dried, just a teaspoon of that dried. So I'll need a pile about this big. Then I'm gonna take my knife and put it in the middle of our cutting board. When you mince, you cut differently than when you slice. So slicing, I have my claw grip, holding the food, and my knife moves just forward as I cut through, so it looks like this. When you mince, you're gonna hold your knife at with the tip facing from 10 to 4, put your hand on the top of the knife with the fingers curled up, and then the tip of the knife stays on the board as the back of the knife moves up and down. So back of the knife is doing all the work. The tip of the knife is just staying down to stabilize your cut. And we don't cut and move all over the board. We just gather back together and continue to cut. So our knife is moving from this range to this range. Sometimes you have to clear your knife, so you can just take your finger and gently push away. Other side, push away. And a mince is gonna be small little pieces. If you would like to measure your teaspoon, go ahead and grab your measuring cups, measuring spoons. And we're gonna mince until this is the size of a little ant. So let me show you what that looks like. I'll spread it out so you can see how fine the pieces are. It smells really delicious and summery. In your bowl, place your mayonnaise and Greek yogurt or sour cream. I measured mine out already. And then you're gonna also put your teaspoon of dill in. The rest of it I don't need, I'll just set it aside for another time. And I'm gonna put parsley in mine. I have some parsley that I've already rinsed and dried in a paper towel. So when you use parsley, you wanna make sure that when you use an herb, you wanna make sure you rinse it underwater to get all the sand and dirt off, and then wrap it around in a paper towel to get the water off, or else it will get too wet and it gets really hard to work with. So again, I'm gonna pick the parsley leaves off the stem, put it in the middle of my board in a little pile, mound that up. My knife is gonna be at 10 and 4, and I'm just gonna work through the parsley. It's kind of hard with parsley. First, it'll kind of spread out a little bit, but the smaller you get it, the easier it is to work with. So I will let you continue to work with your dill and your parsley. Let's see, Jill, Anya's breading her zucchini. Okay, oh, we already saw that. Okay, great. So I think we're all at the point where we can start getting that ranch dressing together. So I have my mayonnaise, my sour cream or yogurt in the bowl. I put in my dill, and then I just put in the dill that I chopped, and now I'm chopping parsley to add to this. So keep on working through your parsley. And remember, the tip of the knife stays on the board. I see a lot of kids chopping like this. And for one thing, it's really not safe to have your hand down on the board while you're chopping. And another thing, it just isn't very effective to chop like that or mince like that, because all your ingredients are going to start spreading out all over the board. It needs to be close together and a nice tight cut. And if you're using dried parsley or dried dill, you could have measured that out and put it in your ranch dressing so far. And if you have your zucchini in the oven, remember to set it for 15 minutes so you can turn it with tongs after it's cooked. Okay, and so now I have my parsley the size that I need for my ranch dressing. There's parsley. I'm gonna put a teaspoon of that in there. So I have mayonnaise, yogurt, teaspoon of dill, teaspoon of parsley. I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder that I measured out. Pepper. A pinch of salt. And I'm gonna start mixing this together. So you can see it's thick and creamy like a dip right now. We wanna make it more like a dressing. So I have a 1/4 cup of milk or buttermilk that I'm gonna pour in there, and I'm gonna pour it until I determine that this is the consistency that I want it to be. So now I poured in 1/8 of a cup. You can see it's looking pretty saucy. Still clinging to the side of the bowl, but it's pretty saucy. The best way to know if this recipe is to your liking is to taste it. And I think it's delicious, but it needs more salt. I'm gonna try my onion salt in it. This has onion powder, salt, and parsley. So I'm gonna try that and see if I like it. If not, if you don't want to add something like that, you can just add a little bit of salt. All right, that looks saucy enough to me, and I still have 1/8 of a cup of milk left over. I'm gonna put like a little teeny tiny bit in. And here we go, we're gonna go for that final taste. Clean tasting spoon. Oh my gosh, it's so perfect. It actually tastes just like the regular ranch dressing that you buy in a container, but it's all homemade. It's so fresh and yummy. Please let me know whatever questions you have. Don't forget, you're gonna turn your zucchini at 15 minutes and then go another 10 minutes. So they're gonna look nice and crispy and gorgeous like this. And then your ranch dressing, just remember, don't put it in a whole 1/4 cup of milk. Put it in and see if it's the consistency you like. And then of course, to serve this, you're gonna take one of your fries, dip it in. So yummy. Make sure you eat these when they're hot. I love them. I'm gonna sign off. I'm Chef Diane. Thanks for cooking along with me today. But if you have any questions, I'll be watching this feed for the next 30 minutes. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. I hope that you have a delicious day. Thanks again for joining me.
Bye, guys.